automatic voice recognition system. So you're on a phone, you don't even talk to a person, it's a computerized thing, and you have to speak exactly how they want you to speak, otherwise they just can't understand you. Well, that's not going to work, is it? I'm on my cell phone trying to get my account balance, and I'm talking to a automatic voice. If you want your account balance, say account balance. Account balance! I'm sorry, you need to say account balance. Account balance! Are you saying account balance? Say account balance. Account balance! And it just goes on and on. And I'm on the side of the street with a cell phone just repeatedly saying account balance. People are walking past. Account balance! Account balance! Account balance! Account balance! Meanwhile, back at the bank, it's coming through some sort of speakerphone. Hey, listen to this, chap! Account balance! What the fuck's he saying? Hey, Michelle, come in! Listen! Account balance! What's this guy saying? Hey, everyone, listen to him! I'm sorry, you saying account balance? Account balance! Say account balance. Account balance! Account balance! Account balance! This guy can't balance. Maybe you should lean on a wall. Account balance! Account balance! Account balance!
Account balance! The sheer despair in his voice. That moment of resignation when he realizes that this is just not going to go anywhere. I can totally relate to that. I had this experience many times, and I imagine so did most of you. Good afternoon. My name is Eduard. I'm the Director of Technology at Jade, which is a local software company here in Australia and New Zealand. And I'm here today to prove to you that despite of what we've just seen, talking to machine will be the new norm before we know it, and that you will like it. I will do this by taking you through an analogy first. Then I will tell you a story about a truly smart coffee machine, and then I will call this coffee machine and get us some coffee. Sounds good? Excellent. Let me start by stating the obvious here. In a few years, AI will be as ubiquitous as electricity, powering nearly everything without us even noticing. And if you think of electricity purely as a technology, it's about AC and DC and transformers and network grids, but its impact has been giving us everything from light at night to the internet to space travel, and with that has fundamentally changed how we live our lives. Now, even today, AI is already having quite a big impact on some of our lives. For instance, I cannot overstate the positive impact that Alexa had on my relationship with my wife. At some point, Amazon will release a list of most commonly used phrases. And the phrase, Alexa, remind Edward to ... will be on that list. Mark my words. The rate of adoption, of AI adoption, is skyrocketing at the moment. Even, what used to be reserved for the big tech companies of the world, that used to spend millions, if not billions of dollars of investment on AI, is now suddenly going mainstream. And it's, sorry, I'm a little bit sidetracked by the black screen. It's going mainstream into every industry. And I see somebody jogging. Oh, you? Yeah. All right. Don't go anywhere. Wanted to show you a couple of examples of the work that just Jade did in the last few months, and then multiply this by a whole range of other companies that do work in this space. What you see here is DB Cargo, Deutsche Bahn in logistics. which uses machine learning to improve prediction of arrival times. There's Harrison Grierson in New Zealand, which is a big construction company. They're using text analytics to mine their engineering documents, literally gigabytes of engineering documents for applicable standards and regulations for their latest project. Noel Leeming in electronics retail is using natural language and a CGI persona to put a digital store assistant into their stores, helping customers find what they're after much faster. And local government in New Zealand is using computer vision to make sense of real-time traffic information or car parks just from CCTV footage, the infrastructure that they already have. So again, this is just our work, and then there are heaps of other companies doing in this space. AI is going mainstream. AI isn't coming. It's well and truly here. But today I want to focus on conversational AI. The technology behind enabling us to talk to machines in a relatively natural way. And if you're wondering why you should care, then just stop for a moment and think about it. For literally thousands of years, us humans have communicated via conversations. When computers came along, they weren't smart enough to understand us. So for 40 years, we put up with windows and icons and keyboards. But now, with technology advancing, we can go back to our innate desire for conversations and simply say what we want. See, I'm convinced that 100 years from now, we will look back at something like a keyboard as a necessary but temporary workaround in our communication with machines. If you don't believe me, have a look at this video.
Remember left hand to start, lock in the crank, grab hold of the fender, give yourself a bit of extra strength, and away we go.
Now, nobody in their right mind will want to start their car with a hand crank today. But in the early 1900s, that was absolutely the way it had to be. And if you look at this timeline here, the first cars were really produced in the late 1880s, early 1890s. 1912, Cadillac introduced the electric starter motor. And by 1920, there was pretty much no car produced that didn't have an electric starter motor. So that's give or take 30 years of workaround and 100 years plus counting for convenience. And I believe that we're currently here in the mid-1910s, the equivalent of the mid-1910s, where the technology exists and is being used. It just hasn't made it into mass production yet. And to show you just how far we've come already, I'm about to call a coffee machine, have a bit of a chit-chat, and then order coffee from there. But before I do this, let me quickly tell you the background story here. Last Christmas, I wanted to get my wife a coffee machine that can be operated from bed. And before you complain and say, you know, a household appliance as a Christmas present for your wife, that's a pretty lame, you should know that this is the artwork that decorates our kitchen bench. Raise your hands if you love coffee. Excellent. You'll be able to follow this story. So it turns out there is no such thing as a smart coffee machine. It's something like this. That's a coffee machine. It's a bean to cup fully automated coffee machine, to be precise. It makes good coffee, but I have to stand right in front of it and press a button. So because I love my wife, I did more research and I unearthed the so-called smart coffee machines. They look like this. They come with a Bluetooth app that allows me to fine-tune the grinding, the extraction, the exact water temperature. But I still kind of have to stand right in front of it because, you know, it's Bluetooth. It works for about 3 meters reliably. It certainly doesn't reach to my bedroom. So it's also not very smart. Any attempt for me to say, hey, coffee machine, make my wife the perfect latte, failed miserably. So while they are connected, they are not smart. They have no intelligence of their own whatsoever. Eventually I gave up and I got her a scooter instead. And the only reason to tell you this is to make every other husband in the audience look good in comparison. Anyway, so a couple of weeks ago, I was at the Ministry of Awesome, which is a local startup incubator in Christchurch, and I kind of felt obliged to live up to their name. So I revived my dream of this smart coffee machine, and I roped in a whole lot of people around New Zealand to make it happen. And so this is the result. This is a truly smart coffee machine. It's the same coffee machine from the first picture, except it's hacked and we wired in an Arduino and made it talk to the internet. And that is what we call Bella. It's our smart coffee machine. So I can have a conversation with her and ask her about, well, first of all, I can ask her to make me coffee, but she also tells me random facts about coffee. She helps me troubleshoot the machine. She even can do some really bad jokes. And while she's not funny, she's definitely smart enough to understand what I want and then make it so. So I am now about to call her, but before I do this, let me quickly run you through what is about to happen. I'm going to pick up my phone. I'm going to dial a local phone number that is connected to a call center that I've established. It's my own personal call center. I will be greeted by a stock standard IVR that gives me some options to choose from. Once I press 1 for Bella, I will be transferred to her, and hopefully she will say hello. Then I'll have a bit of a chit chat with her, order my coffee. She will actually make that coffee, and fingers crossed technology holds up. I have a live stream set up to the Jade booth, which is on the other side of the room near the transformation stage, where this coffee machine currently sits, and you'll be able to see her make that coffee. If at any point I ask her to do something that she can't do, she will pass me back into that call center. I'll listen to some hold music, and if fingers crossed everything works, somebody will pick up, a real person, and take it from there. So to recap, I'm going to have a live stream over shaky conference Wi-Fi, an IoT coffee machine on the other side of the room, a makeshift call center with IVR, a live phone, conversational AI in a noisy environment. And in my head, it's going to go down something like this.
Wow! It's working! Go! Go!
Although admittedly, it could sound a little bit like this. Okay. I can't delay this any longer. I guess I have to just get into it. Okay, so I am dialing. I'm gonna put this on speaker.
Welcome to Horizon, Jade's New Ventures team.
Feels a
Press
little
1
bit
to
awkward.
speak to Bella, 2 to speak to Ace, and 3 to speak to one of our team.
Kind of looks awkward, but
This is Bella. How can I help?
nice to meet you, Bella.
Likewise, what can I do for you today?
Can I have a cappuccino, please?
1 cappuccino coming to a coffee cup near you. If that's all, please place your cup on the mark and check the milk dial is at max frost. Let me know when you're ready.
Actually, what's the difference between a cappuccino and a flat white? Always wanted to know this.
Cappuccino is a coffee made with 60 milliliters of milk foam, steamed milk, and espresso, whereas flat white is 60 milliliters espresso with 120 milliliters steamed milk. Do you still want the cappuccino?
No, I'll have the flat white then.
Sure thing. So you want a flat white. If that's all, please place your cup on the mark and check the milk dial is at no frost. Let me know when you're ready.
Can I have muffins with that?
Man, I really love muffins. I'll bug the marketing team about this later. For now it's only coffee, I'm afraid. Sorry about that. So we're sticking with just the flat white. If that's all, please place your cup on the mark and check the milk dial is at no frost. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready. Ange, can you switch?
feel like we need elevator music while we wait. But at least it is a relatively nice day, 16 degrees, with light rain.
Almost. No live stream.
Coffee is a perfect addition. Did you know? If in an airtight container somewhere cool, dry, and dark, ground coffee can be used for a few months past its expiration date. Whole beans can last for up to 9 months, and instant coffee for up to 20 years. There we go. Your coffee is almost ready. I hope you enjoy the caffeine buzz.
Can you bring it to me?
You got to be kidding. What do you think I am? Do I look like I have legs? I'll pass you over to one of the team. You can ask them if they are willing to do that, okay?
There we go, we got the hold music.
Hey, how's it going?
Jono, I can't believe I'm actually talking to you. I have a coffee waiting for me. Can you bring it over?
Sure, I'll just go bring it now.
Awesome, thank you very much. Speak soon.
Yeah.
Okay, I was not prepared for that. And can I have the slides back? So, actually it was much closer to those phones topping over than the account balance. But why did this work so well? I put it down to 3 things. Number 1, attitude. We were brave enough to actually give that a go. Number 2, mindset. When we started there, we didn't think about technology, we just thought about the customer experience. We really just wanted to order coffee from bed and then have a normal conversation. And number 3, the level of detail, the level of depth that's actually behind it, what we realized was that a natural conversation is a little bit like an iceberg. What we've just done was scratching the surface, seeing that top little corner. She can do so much more because she has to be able to respond to a whole lot of questions, including the ones that people might ask at a coffee cart, but that she can't do, like, you know, getting me a muffin or coming actually and bringing it to me. Once you figure that one out, it's actually really easy and really fast to do this sort of stuff. She was built in 10 days, and that included us figuring out how to hotwire a coffee machine. And now that we know that, suddenly it opens up this world of possibilities. Now, this is a little bit gimmicky. I don't have to have a barista-style conversation with my household appliance all the time, but if you now think of, say, your microwave, right? And if you look at the number of buttons that are on this thing, and then you think about the number of buttons that you actually use. So mine has probably 16, I counted it. But really, it now has, I use the timer, I use start, I use stop, and maybe the power function sometimes. If I wanted to thaw chicken, I wouldn't know where to start, so I just shove it in and do the same thing as I always do. What if, instead of looking for that manual that I put into a safe place, what if I just ask her? And so this is what I'm most excited about, I think. I'm sort of toying with the idea of calling Bella up again and ask her one of these questions, but I'm not really sure if I want to push my luck. What do you think? Raise your hands if you want me to play. Damn it. Okay. All right, so bear with me. I have to go through the call center.
Jade New Ventures team. Press 1 to speak to Bella. To speak.
Hi, is it Bella? How can I help?
How do I replace the filter?
Your machine might come with a filter for softening water to make for a better brew. If that's not the case, I recommend you get one from your local DeLonghi distributor. You should replace the filter every 2 months.
Okay, thanks Bella, that's enough. Okay, this can go on for a little bit because she essentially is just narrating the manual now. But that's actually, once you figure that out, it's really useful because I don't know where my manuals are. Okay, so that really brings me to the end of what I wanted to do. I wanted to prove to you that conversational talking to machines is going to be what the future has in stock for us. But one thing I do want to stress, and that is, no matter of the technology, it doesn't matter if you don't get what you were after. It's gonna make it convenient, but you still have to follow through. And with that, thank you very much, Jono, and thank you all for listening.